Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back into another episode of Jake's Takes. I am your host, Jake Masucci, and we are on episode 149. And this is going to be the final episode of Jake's Takes. So, in this episode, we will be reflecting on my decision to end the podcast. We'll be talking about what the podcast has meant to me, all of the shows that we've done, what the reason for why I'm ending it, all of your questions, hopefully, will be answered within this podcast. But super excited for this one, and let's get right into it. I'm going to cue the music. All right. Welcome back into the show. And looking at this one, it's the final episode. There's a sense of reflection going on. There's a sense of, man, is this the right decision? But after a lot of reflecting and after a lot of thinking about this, I feel like it's the right decision. So let's talk about it a little bit. I'm going to start with, just kind of the reason that this show is ending. So, I was doing a lot of reflecting on it over the past couple of months. I knew right after March Madness that I was going to take a long break and try to figure out, okay, what's this decision-making process? Like, does it make sense to continue this show? Is it the right thing for me? What exactly do I want to do? Because I didn't know after March where I wanted to go. I wasn't sure what my path was. I was interested in multiple different things. I was talking to multiple different people within sports, within accounting, within whatever, trying to figure out, okay, what exactly calls to me? What exactly am I looking for? Right. And that really made it hard to decide where I wanted to go with this podcast, because part of what I love about this podcast was you were kind of following me, like, as I was learning different things, where I wanted the show to go, what specific things were interesting to me at the time. And that's what was super cool, like going through and figuring out, okay, like, I like this, let's do this, or this podcast sucked, let's not do this again, stuff like that. So the decision-making process really took a long time. And then I really feel like after the March Madness stuff and after I ramped it up for a while, in that ramp-up process, I was finally like, I don't know. Let me take a break. And if it calls back to me, then I'll do it. I'll keep going and we'll keep rolling right after college and keep it going. And to be honest, that feeling didn't come back to me. It really didn't. The feeling that came back to me was coaching. And that was right where I started college, was that coaching itch. I came into college wanting to learn coaching. It's part of the reason I went to Oakland University. Who better to learn from than Greg Kampe? He teaches the game at the highest level. And it's flat out unbelievable, some of the stuff I've learned these last 4 years. I mean, it's just incredible, And I went into that completely a student. That's why I didn't start this podcast until like midway through my freshman year, where I was like, I want to do something fun to escape sports a little bit, enjoy. I love talking about sports. How can I do that? Right. And that's what this podcast was able to do. It was, in my opinion, one of the most fun things I did during college. And it just gave me a place to talk about sports, experiment with things, make mistakes, improve, and figure out things. It was just super cool. Some of the interviews I got to do, I got to learn coaching. I did a whole coaches series of 5 parts where I got to talk to college level coaches, high school level coaches, and just explore, it really became a creative outlet for me, where I could just follow whatever interested me at the time. Some of the podcasts that I look back on the most, I absolutely loved, were Marvel podcasts with Marty Hannon or Marty Masucci. It was just those kind of episodes where I was just watching those movies and I was like, we got to talk about this. We got to have that. And that freedom is part of one of the things that really made me just love the show, because it was just like, I can take this anywhere. It's my show, you know? And just to see the improvement that this show has had. Like my first episode, if you go back and listen to that, is so bad. Like so bad. I can't really listen to it anymore because the audio quality's bad. Just everything about it. There's no video. Like I'm just like, man. But that's, the funny thing is when you reflect on that stuff, is that's where we all start. You gotta just try and do the thing as much as you can. And that's the only way you get better. I mean, episode 149 is going to be 10 times better than episode 1. It's just the truth, and that's what's made it just so great for me, is because this has been a complete growth process of my whole college years, and it was documented, which is just flat out awesome. I think that's one of the things I'm going to miss the most, is that I'm documenting my progress. I don't know if I'll ever stop doing that, but what I am going to stop doing is stop doing it publicly, because when you go in on coaching, when you go in on that stuff, it's a very private world. You can't talk about things. I can't slip up once, and I don't want to have an outlet where I could slip up, that was something that was very hard for me to kind of grasp, because I love the show. I love doing it. It's so much fun. It's so much fun to podcast. It's so much fun to bring guests. It's so much fun to just talk about things that you're passionate about, or bring on guests and talk about things they're passionate about and see them talk about it. Like I love bringing on Asher Smith to talk about college basketball, because we can't get enough of college basketball. We love it, and hearing him talk about it, and hearing the pages and pages of research he does before an episode, just flat out awesome. Same with a guy like Marty Hannon, just brings in pages and pages of baseball notes. Same with a guy like Drew Comer, pages and pages. Connor Benson, when he came on, the college football notes, insane. Like so many of these guys that I brought on were just so excited to come on and did so much work to be prepared and have a great podcast. And at the end of the day, they told me that it was one of the most fun things they'd done. Right. And that is what I'm proud of, like being able to share that with people. That's just a great part about podcasting. And, it's really just meant the world to me. It's taught me so many different things. Like when you interview people and just like ask them about their life, like the Coach RC interview is one of my favorite interviews, because I really got to know the person deep down. I really got to know his values and what he stood out for. Coach Olejniczak, same thing. Like his values, what was important to him, how he moved up the coaching ranks, what he specifically did. Like it just shows you how impressive the person is, right? And another thing I felt like I learned was just how to listen and follow up and keep the conversation moving. Like I feel like I'm a really good interviewer now. And it's great when you're meeting new people, because you can really connect with them. And that's my goal. Like I never wanted to be the type of guy that doesn't have a genuine connection with someone. And I made mistakes in the past on trying to figure that out, but that's part of growing. It's part of learning, and I'm still making mistakes on it. Right. But that's partly what I'm so thankful for this podcast, because I was able to make those mistakes, figure it out, watch it almost like game tape, and then go again and do it better the next time, and that's all it is. I mean, that's all life is, and I mean, God knows I don't know anything about it. I'm still learning. I'm just a 23-year-old kid trying to figure it out. But that's what's been so great about Jake's Takes, is it was an outlet to figure it all out. And it was through sports. It was through something I love, talked so much NBA. Matt Griffin with some unbelievable podcasts. Talk about a guy that's passionate about sport. Matt Griffin, it just oozes off of him. And then my brother AJ, and I was so thankful to have Anthony on as well at one time. It just really built connections. Even like Brendan Smith would come on for NBA. And it was just because our bond was just there. It really just built those connections, which is something I'm just so proud of, so proud of. And also, I feel like another thing that the show taught me is how to prepare. Like, I think being a basketball manager, you really have to understand like how to prepare and what to do for prep for like, a game and stuff like that. But this is the same deal. Like you have to prepare when you're interviewing people. You have to prepare on, okay, this guy communicates really well. He really understands these teams. We have to get his opinion completely on these teams. And let's say like he doesn't know the rest. I can kind of take lead on the rest then I got to know the rest. So then the show like flows well, right? And that preparation, it just matters, Um, and that's the thing, like learning by doing, man. Um, I wouldn't have learned that if I didn't have a terrible interview in my first 10 episodes, right? Or I wouldn't have learned that without having so many conversations with so many different people and trying to plug and figure out how to make it a good conversation, how to make them talk about something that they're passionate about, or how to really connect with them. Yeah, it's just great. I mean, there's just so many things that in this podcast that I really appreciated, and now it's become a big part of my life. I mean, now I'm producing the BCAM podcast, my dad's podcast, with the Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan. They've had some fantastic guests, but they wouldn't have been able to start a podcast without this show. This show is the one that was able to do it because this is what I use to get them going. And I mean, Dan Young's been told in the past that the BCAM podcast is one of the best things they've done. And I take immense pride on that because it all started with this show. This show is the one that made it do it. There's so many people that helped me get started. I want to shout out Giovanni Moscheri. He was a big part in this. He taught me so much when I was just a young kid trying to figure it out. And it was super cool. It was super cool to just get to learn from him. I mean, one of our episodes, we did a girls' basketball game together, and we also did a football game together as well. I mean, it was just super cool to see so many sides of like broadcasting and realizing that podcasting was what I wanted to do, you know? Yeah, it's just interesting. A story that kind of helps share like how this podcast has impacted me is I was in Las Vegas, for NBA Summer League, and I was there a part of Sports Business Classroom, which is Bobby Marks's program. And you get separated into teams and they do like a mock trade deadline type thing. So we did all of our moves. We were the Portland Trailblazers. We did all of our moves, and we had to do a presentation in front of all 150 students, talking about everything. And I was like, I'll do it. Be fine. It'll be easy. I was nervous, but like right when I got going, it was just like talking on this show. And again, it's really all it is, and Professor Fellinger came up to me afterwards and he was like, dude, that was, I don't know, he didn't say dude, but he was like, Jake, that was really, really good. Like your tone of voice, the way you communicated that presentation was one of the most impressive presentations I've seen in a long time. And see, that's something that was built through Jake's Takes, like the constant reps, the constant talking in this and figuring out, okay, like, you pause instead of saying a filler word. I still say filler words way too much, but like just figuring out how you communicate, right? And there's just so many different ways where I was just like, man, like I'm getting better at this. This is awesome. And I've just noticed it throughout my whole life. Like now I'm working bag drops still at Oakland University's golf course. And it's just so much easier to communicate with the affiliates than my freshman year. My freshman year, I didn't really know how. And now it's just like, I'm so confident in who I am that it's just smooth. It's a lot easier, you know? And that's something that I really attribute to the show. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. It's been awesome. So let's answer the question, why end now? So I graduated, and I'm done with college, and I decided to throw my hat in the ring of coaching, all in. So I went to Las Vegas. I was part of that sports business classroom with Bobby Marks, and I probably made like 40 to 50 MBA connections. And I got a good idea of what it takes to get there. And I'm not there yet. There's a lot of things that I have to do this year in order to improve my resume, continue to develop my network, and grow. And I want all the time to do it. I don't think it's smart to be trying to do two things at once anymore. I think it's very smart to go all in on an opportunity to do that, because coaching is the thing that I left high school saying I wanted to do, and it came right back when I left college. So it's something I'm going all in on, and it's something I really want to do. So I'm putting my full attention on it, and I'm very excited to put my full attention on it, because I have a great head start and I have great mentors to learn from. So we're right back in learning mode. We're right back in step one, which I'm very excited about and very happy with. So the next year is probably going to be going to a lot of practices around the country, continuing to build a network and looking for GA opportunities for next season, not this coming season, the next coming season, in order to get my master's degree as well. So that would be the next step. And I'm very excited to see where it's going to take me, because, it's following a dream, and I feel like that's all you can do. And I know that I'm a hard enough worker to be able to get it done. I mean, you guys saw it. I did 149 episodes in college with this thing in 4 years, which is just amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. So next question I got written down is this my last podcast? No. It's the last one of Jake's Takes. It's the last one of the college show. This is the college show. But I'm sure I'll come back. I'm sure after hopefully a long, lustrous coaching degree that this itch is going to come back. And I'm telling you, that podcast it'll blow this one out of the water, 100%. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. I'm excited to see how it'll change. I'm not leaving the podcast industry, so it's not like I'm not going to know what I'm doing when I come back into the game of podcasting. It's something that I love now, and it's something that's kind of like a part of me. So I do think I will be back, but you can't confidently say when, right? So before we go, I want to thank all of the people who listened, watched, shared an episode, gave feedback, came on the show, or just clicked on one episode, because it just means a lot. I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the show. The show meant a lot to me, and I really appreciate everybody that just gave me feedback. Whether you commented negatively, I really don't care. It was awesome. I got to ask you questions in the comments, or just say, gosh, why are you commenting that? Something like that. It was just so funny to me. Just so great. Seeing people comment and seeing people give me good stuff and bad stuff and stuff I could work on. I mean, one story that I remember, I think it was episode 30, and I spelled Notre Dame wrong in the title, and somebody just corrects me in the comments. And I was like, dude, thank you. That was awesome. I needed that. you know? And then there was another episode where I made another mistake where I put the wrong school for Nathan Brown's interview. And Nathan was like, dude, that's not even my school. And I was like, thank you for telling me that. Because like at the end of the day, like everybody can make mistakes, you know? And that was what this show was. I made a lot of mistakes trying to figure it out, but there was a lot of really, really good episodes too. A lot of really good episodes. And I feel like I just grew like with everyone, you know? Other people I want to thank all the guests, especially Asher Smith, Marty Hannon, Drew Comer, Matt Griffin, all of the reoccurring guests that came on multiple times, AJ Masucci as well. There's just so many that really, really helped out the show. And I'm really appreciative of, like, it was just flat out awesome. Awesome. Yeah, you guys put a lot of sweat into it, sweat equity, and I really, really appreciate that. Yeah. So some final thoughts here. Again, Jake's Takes was a college show, and it became exactly what it needed to. You know, it followed what I was interested in. There were some years we did college football more. There were some years we did NBA more. There's some years we did college basketball more. It really just morphed. NFL was big for a couple of years. Yeah, and it helped me with my communication skills, find my voice, and figure out what I was doing as a college kid. Just figure things out, you know? And it's time for a new chapter. It's time to move on to I'm not going to say better things because I really enjoyed this and I really enjoyed my college experience, but it's time to move on to what I want to do, which is coaching and go all in. And I feel like this podcast only made me better, which is something that I really appreciate. So this is goodbye from Jake's Takes, but I feel like I'll be back eventually. I'm just not sure yet. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.